Hello and welcome to the very first episode of my new series of OmegaRuby online battles for Pokemon. I'm PalpitoadMan, and this is episode 1. First ever. For several reasons, the first episode of this particular series, and my first YouTube video ever. So, here I have Palpitoad, because it was my first Pokemon card ever, so nostalgia. And we have Heatran and Nidoking, which you'll understand later. So let's just jump right into the video. I'm very open to constructive criticism about this, about either my Pokemon team or my video, because that would help me to improve, and that would be really cool. So we're going to jump right into the battle. I'm leading with Raichu and Ludicolo, so I used the OmegaRuby theme because, of course, from XC Gale of Darkness, he loves his Ludicolo evolution line. So he opens with Alakazam and Whimsicott. I expected Alakazam to be a Mega because he had no other Megas potentially on his team. So Raichu's physically offensive because actually its attack and special attack are the same. So I run Fake Out, Nuzzle, Volt Tackle, and Encore. Ludicolo is a special sweeper that sets up its own Rain Dance. So Alakazam goes for the Protect here, and I actually fake out the Whimsicott because I don't want its Prankster to get any more turns than it potentially could. And using that free turn, I get Ludicolo's Rain Dance up to double its speed and Swift Swim. With Ludicolo's Life Orb, I also have Hydro Pump, Giga Drain, and Ice Beam, just for a little bit of recovery on the Giga Drain, and for some strong stab and Hydro Pump and Ice Beam to take out those Ground and Dragon types. So Whimsicott actually encores Raichu into Fake Out, which was pretty devastating at this point in the game, but I managed to knock out Whimsicott right there with an Ice Beam crit from Ludicolo, and that little bit of Life Orb damage right there brings us down just a tiny bit. But Alakazam goes for the Psychic, which I was sure was going to one-hit KO Ludicolo here, but it survived with 44 HP, and Raichu is now useless, so I have to get it off the field somehow. So, I switch Raichu out and go into Aerodactyl instead, which was a risky move because Machamp is on the field and it could easily one-hit KO it. But I wasn't worried, so I had Aerodactyl's pressure on the field now. Alakazam used Protect, which was a pretty bad prediction of any moves, but Ludicolo, I had it use Hydro Pump on the Machamp instead, hoping I could get rid of it right there. It almost scores the one-hit KO, but now Ludicolo's deep in the red zone. Machamp goes for the Dynamic Punch on Ludicolo instead of Raichu, that I'd expected to hit Aerodactyl, so that gets rid of Ludicolo, but we're in a pretty good position otherwise. I get Raichu back on the field, purely so that I can fake out that Alakazam. So I Mega Evolve Aerodactyl because I need the little extra speed boost on it. Thus I can Sky Drop the Machamp. So I fake out Alakazam, and then Machamp goes for the Wide Guard, expecting a Rock Slide or something from Aerodactyl, which I have Rock Slide on this set, but I was not actually going to use it because that would be a poor matchup on Machamp, even though it might have actually scored the one-hit KO. So that timing there, Alakazam was still slightly faster than my Aerodactyl, so expecting my Aerodactyl to be faster, it tried to hit it with Psychic, but that failed because Aerodactyl wasn't down yet. So with that little extra loss of a turn on Alakazam, I get the Nuzzle on it, which paralyzes it, which gets rid of its whole speed boost. So Heatran comes in now, just as the rain subsides, so its Fire-type moves will be back up to power, which scares me. So Alakazam puts up its Protect, and expecting that, I use my Aerodactyl's Tailwind, which that way I have a little extra speed on all my Pokemon, but it's not really necessary, because after this move, both of the remaining Pokemon are now paralyzed. And luckily, Heatran gets the Paralysis hack on its very first turn being paralyzed, so it gets no move. Now I use the Rock Slide while I have no Wide Guarders left, and I was thinking it might score the one-hit KO on Alakazam just because of its bad defense, but it wasn't quite enough because of the double spread. So Raichu's Volt Tackle is enough to knock out Alakazam, and all he has left is Heatran. But it gets through the Paralysis, Flash Cannon, one-hits Aerodactyl, unfortunately, leaving me with just Raichu and Nidoking. So I bring in this Nidoking with Choice Specs, Sheer Force, and then I give it a little helping hand boost from Raichu just to rub salt in the wound with an Earth Power, which is a stab move, 4 times effective on Heatran. So if that didn't knock it out, nothing would. And that ends my very first online Wi-Fi battle video on YouTube. I defeated him, and that was very good match. He used some very strong Pokemon and strategies, and thus you now see why the Keychain and Nidoking were significant. Thank you very much for watching. Special thanks to my opponent for a great match. My next video will involve Landorus and Thundurus, so be on the lookout for that. Thank you and have a great day, everyone.